Go live. We going live. Go live. Go live. Welcome in. Come on in. Tell a friend. All black everything. Yes. We back. Tell him in. Tell him in. Tell him in. Mhm. Come on in. Tell a friend. Yes. We back. Ain't been here in a while. Had family in town. Helping me tremendously. Doing things for my father's arrangements and things like that. Appreciate y'all for sticking with it, sticking with us. Let's get to it. We back with all black everything. The new series. Oh man, a little bit of rusty, but the new series we've been lied to slash. Did you know? We right back at it, getting into it again, talking about race, and it continues. Oh yeah, like you share, subscribe, thumbs up, like you attacking. You know how to do it. Read them comments. It says Boaz himself was one of the scholars, as can be seen in works of his, like The Mind of Primitive Man in Race, Language, and Culture. In fact, some historians credit Boaz as a critical contributor to early Afrocentric thought or African centered studies. But after Boaz's anthropology was a raceless place, since whiteness is an assumed norm or standard throughout our society. The subconscious effect of neglecting to mention racial characteristics in anthropological work is to make all these people seem white. Big mistake. In short, Franz Boas wanted to fight scientific racism, not eliminate the relevance of race altogether. And now we have a generation of anthropologists who act as if race doesn't exist and never did. And all it does is strip black scholars of needed ammunition. Isn't it interesting how things can be turned around? Hmm. Why race matters. Race is everything: literature, science, art. In a word, civilization depends on it. Dr. Robert Knox, The Races of Men in 1850. That is his quote. Excuse me. It says, people who hear me explain how we are all original people sometimes counter with what we are different in some ways, right? Of course, but we do these distinctions. What do these distinctions mean? Excuse me. In How to Hustle and Win Part 1, I explained how many of the most popular racial or ethnic identities aren't even races or ethnicities, but nationalities and linguistic groups. That means they're just the political name for where you're from or the language you speak. Case in point, there were once at least 500 indigenous nations in the Americas, but that doesn't mean there were 500 races. There are over 600 linguistic groups in the islands of New Guinea alone, and that doesn't mean there are 600 races. Similarly, there are jet black people who speak Spanish living in Dominican Republic. Next door, on the same island, there are Haitians of the same complexion speaking Creole. Both groups are mostly descendants from West Africans kidnapped in the slave trade. Are they different races? Of course not. Such distinctions would be stupid. but we still tend to think that our country of origin or the language we speak defines our identity. Dis disidentify. Stop identifying with that whoosh. That's that whoosh. Learn to distinguish it. Discernment. That was a word of the day. Those that know what I'm talking about. These things might influence our culture identity, but not our real identity. After all, most of these countries are just based on the way Europeans carved up our respective continents in the 1900s. Hell, even those continents are imaginary distinctions. There is no physical boundary separating Europe from Asia. And and Europeans actually dug through miles of land, the Panama Canal and Suez Canal, to separate Africa from Asia and North America and South America. Separation. Separation is one of the names of their game. If you don't know it, you better ask somebody. Mm-mm-mm. So, who are we really? One thing's for sure, we can't define it with geographic or linguistic identities. These, this is partly why the 5% group, the human families of the earth, this is partly why 5% group the human families of the planet Earth into shades of humanity. That is, black, brown, yellow people are the original people. And then there's white folks. Now, don't be mad that I'm making that distinction because I'm not the author of it. It was white people who distinguished and separated themselves from the darker people of the world, later creating the concepts of race that we know today as a way to make us all feel different. Hmm. Hmm. Ask yourself, who did that? Not me. One very pertinent example of this can be found in the modern Latino identity. And we're going to come on back into that when we hit this next one. All black everything, think it's plight. Big James many streams. Back with that when the world was black, when the world was black, when the world was black. Just like that. Hey, thumbs up, thumbs up. Like it, strike it, like you hitchhiking. Like it, share, subscribe it. Let's go. Let's get it going. Let's get it growing. Keep it growing. We're getting back consistent on the track. Peace and love.